And the microphone's on?
Not just yet.
Okay.
And we're live in.
Oh, no.
And I'm using finger puppets.
Careful which finger you're using. All right. Okay. I know my notes here. We'll call the meeting to order. It's just after 1 o'clock on Tuesday, August 4th, 2020. I'd like to acknowledge that we are on Treaty 1 territory and the traditional homeland of the Métis people. Two of our councillors continue to attend remotely via GoToMeetings. Councillor Axworthy, give us a wave, and Councillor Randall. And around the table with Mike.
Mike Bartmanovich, hello everyone.
Erwin Kumka.
Raymond Morrow, CAO.
And Penny McMorris Reeve. All right, where am I now? Sorry, everybody.
Agenda.
Moving on to the adoption of the agenda. Be it resolved, the agenda be adopted as presented. Mover? Erwin. Seconder, Mike. Oh boy, look at all those hands.
Yep.
Everybody wants to get out of here today.
Enthusiastic.
Any discussion, any changes or additions?
Well,
Right.
that's a
But you're not
change, isn't
amending
it?
it.
We're not amending it.
Oh,
That's not
okay,
your call.
all right, good enough.
Okay, all those in favor? Thank you. Delegations, we have just been notified at about 1:01 that our delegation from the BBCOA is not coming, not attending. So we will move on to accounts.
Minutes.
Oh, I
Previous
missed the minutes. That's what you were trying to tell me,
That's
you
what I
gotta
was
be
trying to
louder.
tell you. Oh, minutes.
Minutes, apologies everyone, backing up. Backing up. All right, be it resolved, the minutes of the July 21st, 2020 regular council meeting be adopted as presented. I need a mover. Erwin, seconder. Steve, thank you very much. Any discussion on the minutes that were circulated to council? All those in favor? Carried. Thank you. I was gonna take your coffee cup as yes, Steve, so you put your hand up.
There we go. It's official now.
It's official. All right, my apologies. Moving on to delegations, as I mentioned previously, we've been notified, thank you, Steve, that Blake Taylor of the BBCOA has decided not to attend. We don't know why, but we are moving on to accounts and... Go ahead.
I'll just mention one thing real quick, only because it was just in your wording there, which is that it's not that they're not physically attending. They're also given an online option to come on. So it's not because of COVID that they're choosing not to come.
Correct.
I just wanted to clarify.
Thank you. Yeah, they were to attend virtually, but they
Yeah.
declined the offer.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it.
Yeah. Next time, maybe.
Okay.
Okay. So, now I think I'm back on track with accounts and finances. Does that sound right?
Sounds great to
Be
me.
it resolved that the following list of accounts be approved for payment. Accounts payable checks 8561 to 8603 in the amount of $85,591.73. And July 24th payroll in the amount of $57,502.80. May I have a mover? Erwin, seconder. Mike? Thank you very much. Discussion?
Again, I've reviewed the accounts. In this run of checks, we're issuing a number of grants to various organizations in the community. So those checks are in the mail. One large item that was completed was the spring brushing was completed and paid to Gary Danwich in the amount of $18,900. The balance of the items appear to be in order.
Any questions for Erwin? No? All those in favor? Carried. Thank you. No business from the previous meeting. So we are moving on to other business. bylaw 1609. Be it resolved that bylaw 1609, regulating the use of public property in the municipality, be given second reading. May I have a mover, please? Mike, second. Erwin, Graham, Steve.
A third and a fourth? Passed.
All right, any further discussion on second reading of this somewhat controversial, apparently, bylaw? Mike? Hang on, Graham, Mike, I'll
Hang
go
on.
first. I'll get to you, big guy.
Seems how it seems that one way or another, I was kind of the eye of this maelstrom here. I want to thank everyone, every single resident that sent an email to council voicing their opinions on this. And I tried to respond to each and every one of them. If I missed you with an email response, I apologize. I don't know how I got missed because I must have sent 50 emails out. Anyways, the whole debate around cooking on beaches, as I said in the email that I sent to folks, I'm not particularly in favor of cooking on the beach myself. However, so that council could really get a feel for the opinions of all residents, because I'm always a little bit leery when a bylaw potentially curtails activities of any residents. Well, in this case, I figured that by broaching the topic, this would give council a good opportunity to see where exactly residents' feelings lie with this. And it became apparent and very obvious very quickly that no one is interested in cooking on any kind of device in any public space in Victoria Beach. The message was heard loud and clear, and therefore I'm very confident that 1609 will receive second and third reading today. So again, my thanks to everybody who made their voices heard.
I just want to give Graham an opportunity. He was second in line. Graham?
Yeah, just a few words. I agree with Mike. I'd like to thank our residents for their emails for sharing this with us. And it also serves to reinforce my support for this bylaw, which unfortunately didn't come through too clearly at the last meeting. Just one clarification, please, because there still appears to be a little bit of confusion. 1609 does not seek to allow barbecues, it seeks to prohibit them. And I would invite anyone who is interested in this to read the bylaw on our website. Anyway, my support of it is unqualified, and thank you.
Okay, next, Erwin.
Just a comment, unfortunately, not unfortunately, it is a fact that we do not have sufficient infrastructure to support people staying on the beach for longer periods of time. If you were planning to cook on the beach, that would mean you're likely going to be on the beach for several hours. We have a total of 3 washrooms in the entire VRA, and we just don't have the infrastructure to support. And again, I think it's very interesting that the community responded, and we certainly appreciate being advised of your fact you do not want any kind of cooking allowed on the beach. Mm-hmm. And we do appreciate all of the emails.
Beaches and public spaces.
Any public space in our municipality.
And I'd just like to add, this is not just a vehicle restricted area issue. It happens in Albert Beach, it happens at the Sandfits, it happens in Wanasing. Mm-hmm. It's not just a vehicle restricted area issue.
Right. But we only have 3 washrooms in the VRA, none in any other area.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Where's the third one? Parking lot?
Parking lot.
Right. Yeah. Steve, did you want to add any final comments?
Yeah, let's go. First, I just want to clarify my position on what I said the last time, only because it wasn't heard effectively. And God only knows that I know that from what I received, but I may or may not have missed a couple of emails as well. My only point was that I thought that we should explore the idea of allowing them just in at pure point, only because if something is going to be happening regardless of a bylaw, no matter how you tweak it, it's still going to be happening. It bears some consideration as to whether or not it's truly that effective. I don't think that there should be barbecues on any beaches, but I do want to further explore ways of managing the sort of day tripper issue, which is what seems to have sparked the firestorm of emails that came over to us. I also want to make the point, because it was said in almost every email that I received, that day trippers do in fact have a legal right to access Victoria Beach, and that we are not a closed community. We're not a gated community, and there's nothing that the RM could do save declaring a state of emergency to prevent somebody from accessing Victoria Beach. And I just think it's really important that we explain that, because many of the emails that I was receiving, including a call to, over anything, officially declare Victoria Beach a gated community. We're not. They are public beaches. Everybody uses them. And we don't have the right to prevent people from coming to the beach, but it is still something that we can explore to try to, I guess, get the message out to people that, as everybody's already said, we don't have the facilities for day trips. We don't have those kinds of accommodations, and maybe there's something that we can look into to kind of cut the day trippers off in the past to get that information. Then, Granite Beach is an option. This place here, or something, just whatever it is. It's something that we need to look more into, but we do also need to accept the fact that the day trippers are going to be coming here, and they do have the legal right to come into the EV.
Absolutely.
I don't, if I may, I don't think, I mean, two things were very clear in the emails, and that was the overwhelming majority said no barbecuing. The overall majority also, they were not anti-inclusionary. I think everybody understands that a large part of Victoria Beach is a public place. The part that we have to reconcile is the fact that we are not a tourist destination. As Erwin said, we don't have the infrastructure. As Steve alluded to, we certainly don't have the amenities.
No.
And I am averse to providing any kind of amenity that would be above and beyond the amenities that our residents currently need and are satisfied with. So nothing new to draw outside visitors or tourism is completely off the table for me.
It's not reasonable to attract people to our community if we don't have proper sanitary facilities.
Yeah.
To consider building those facilities would be something I could not support, given our financial situation.
Yeah. No, no one has the appetite to become a tourist destination.
We're not a Grand Beach.
Yeah, exactly. We're not a provincial park.
No, we're not. Okay.
There is just one more thing that I do want to put out there, because I think that there's some real confusion by residents and how passing bylaws work. Passing for something for a first reading does not guarantee that all of those amendments or proposed amendments are going to make it through to second and third reading. Before we can go into second and third reading, we have to put ideas on the table, and from those ideas, then we discuss and we consult with locals. So if we start hearing that, even just sending a message that we would not like this amendment or this thing is not something that we support, really at the end of the day, that's good enough. But a lot of the emails that I had received, and I've noticed this from a couple of other bylaws that we were taking a look at, people seem to think as though because we pass first reading and are considering amendments, it automatically means that it's either a done deal or that we've been considering this for a while. First reading is just opening it up so that we can open up the discussion. So I just wanted to clarify that for people so that this confusion doesn't happen in the future.
Good point, Steve. First reading is to get it on the table, subject to review, discussion, and feedback, and that's why it goes up on our website as soon as practicable after first reading is passed.
All right. Okay, gentlemen. On that note, if there's nothing further on this discussion that we haven't already heard, can I call for the vote on second reading of bylaw 1609 as written? All those in favor? Carried. Thank you. Moving on to the third and final reading. Be it resolved that bylaw 1609, regulating the use of public property in the municipality, be given third reading and passed. May I have a mover? Mike, and a seconder. Steve, thank you very much. Any further discussion on bylaw 1609, third reading? All those in favor?
Oh, get my hand in there.
Steve, is your hand up? You're frozen.
Oh,
There you
There we
go,
go.
sorry, thank
Yeah.
you. Carried.
And the
It
barbecue.
was unanimous.
It was unanimous. Thank you. But it did generate an awful lot of discussion among the residents. Yeah, I think we got the message.
People are wonderfully passionate about Victoria Beach.
Was anyone in favor of barbecuing on the
Yes,
beach?
not on the beaches. I didn't hear anyone in
No.
favor of barbecuing on the
I didn't
beaches.
see any.
But there were some in favor of
In some public
setting up
spaces.
an area where people could comfortably barbecue with certain amenities.
Yeah.
Right.
But given
That
the,
would definitely be a minority.
Once it was clarified that position, then some people did respond back saying that they were more open to it. Again, I think it's something that we should explore, at least an idea, just to end the entire day tripper issue, to try to not manage is the wrong word, but just, I suppose that's the only word I can use, but manage the day tripper issue more effectively, because there are issues and things that we could do to mitigate their effects. So.
Yeah, but any further exploration should never forget the feedback that we got. It was decisive and conclusive.
Yeah.
all right. We are moving on. All right. Be it resolved that bylaw 1610, providing for an administrative penalty scheme for general bylaw enforcement, be given first reading. May I have a mover? Graham, saw your hand go up, and Mike, second. Discussion?
Can I just suggest that, as usual, Raymond give us just a little bit of an overview of what 1610 is all about and seeks to do?
1610 is going to replace
1585.
1585. And the only reason this bylaw is being proposed, and it will have to be passed, is because in the schedule, the bylaw that was just repealed with passage of 1609 was 1599, I believe. And it is to regulate the use of public property. So now in the schedule, we have 1610 regulating the use of public property, and that's the enabling bylaw in terms of issuing fines for people who contravene the bylaw. So anytime you change a bylaw now, you have to change this enforcement bylaw because it specifically lists all the bylaws that the police will enforce with ticket
Right.
issuing.
Right.
So it's really a consistency issue and housekeeping.
And housekeeping more than anything, yeah.
There's no structural changes,
No,
as
the
I
bylaw's
understand.
identical.
So there's no way
Except
we could just do an amendment, like amended attachment, if you will?
for- You'd have to amend this bylaw because the
Okay.
schedule is part of the bylaw.
Gotcha.
So then you're amending a bylaw and you
Your
have to
readings again?
it will have to
Three
get 3
readings again?
readings, yeah. If you amend the bylaw, you have to write a bylaw to amend the bylaw. So then you gotta go
Right.
look at what amending
Right.
bylaw, you know. It's easier to just rewrite the bylaws, everything is computerized now.
Mhm.
Okay,
So then
Yeah.
that's the only bylaw in play.
Right.
When you have amendments, you have to go look at all the,
Gotcha.
the original and the
Mhm.
following bylaws to determine what's been changed.
right. I guess my thought was maybe we could just
Be
do
saving
the,
time.
the actual bylaws that are listed, we could just amend that page. But we can't just do.
No,
that,
'cause it's a schedule to the
Because it's a
bylaw.
schedule to that bylaw.
Yeah, it doesn't exist on its own,
Got it.
yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
So,
Brandon, I was just watching a video that this morning that was explaining what administrative hell looks and sounds like, and it sounds as though that description is exactly it.
It's a lot easier than when you used to have to use a typewriter.
Yeah, I can.
Steve
Copy
probably
and
doesn't
paste.
know what typewriters are.
No.
Yeah.
no.
I've been trying to find one for years.
So, we have first reading on the table for bylaws 1610. Is there any further discussion?
Just, I liked it. I thought it was well done. I like the Schedule A, and by passing this first reading, we can let the folks have a first good look at what some of the potential penalties are for violating bylaws in the RM.
They're the same as the
Yeah.
the existing
Yeah.
bylaw.
Yeah.
But people should be made aware
Right.
of what the potential repercussions are for violating the bylaw.
I think the other thing is worth noting while you're on the topic of the offense category that you can charge, the maximum is $1,000. That's the regulation. You can't, with a municipal bylaw, with a few exceptions.
Mhm.
There are a few exceptions, and the one I can see there is the building bylaw, and it's only for a corporate charge. You're allowed to fine up to $5,000, but other than that, maximum fine imposable is $1,000. So it's not because we're trying to charge less, that's the max you can charge.
And I like the fact that it adds enforcement to 1609, which we just finished passing.
Mhm.
All right. Anything else, gentlemen? All right, all those in favor? Carried. Thank you. All right. Good grief. This is going to be a really short meeting, gentlemen.
There's no 1609 on it.
I'm looking at
Graham.
correspondence.
1609.
As we know, we got
It's
an
just
awful
passed
lot of
today.
correspondence on 1609.
Then I put the wrong number. I'll have to change.
Which
Yeah,
we-
I'm really happy that that's
This
not
is
the reason after the story that Raymond was saying how he used to go through every single letter and read the entire letter off
Goodness,
individually
yes.
to beat her for about 6 years. All it was received.
Yes. There was a STARS request from an employee in St. Anne, I believe. I think we agreed that she wanted a donation. I think we agreed that we make a
We
donation
make a
to
donation
STARS.
already, yeah.
Yeah, that was authorized in the budget, was it not?
Yep.
And we have Brad's correspondence to sit down and talk about the boat. I presume that we'll be acknowledging that and setting something up in due course.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can,
And they also have everything that they need for the medical response unit, so that's all good and
All their
operating
PPEs
now.
in place, yeah.
So they are in place now, the PPE, so our first responders are now activated?
For specific types of calls.
Right.
Priority 1, 2, and 3, I believe only.
yeah, Brad's putting a notice in this upcoming Herald.
Good.
There will be a letter in the
That will
upcoming
explain
Herald.
what first responders do and do not respond to at this time.
Yeah.
When it's my turn, I had one item of
Go ahead,
correspondence I wanted to pick out of the pile.
go ahead, Graham.
Okay, one of our residents, there's a number of them, but one wrote in particular about the problem, the issue of parking on 504. It's been circulated and Raymond has a copy, and I know that individual followed up with a reply from Highways, which incidentally confirms the approval of no parking near the end of David from last time around.
David,
This issue continues to haunt us. Raymond has been very helpful in explaining that we've applied for this and that, and we were declined. However, I just don't think we should give up. There's got to be some way that we can exercise some control over undesirable and unsafe practices within our municipality. There are no parking signs towards the north end of 504. There's 6 of them. All we have to do is move them south 100 yards or 2 so that we're not seen encouraging visitors to that area. And I would like to to simply move those signs so that parking at the end of 504 becomes less convenient for the loads and loads of people who choose to use it as a public amenity.
I think probably the best way to handle it moving forward would be to do some sort of very basic target study. So whenever we see that there's a line of cars, just make a note of date and how many cars are parked up. And that gives us just a little bit more meat to be able to send with that letter saying, listen, we're talking about 50 cars on a highway with no path or sidewalk or anything, and we're having to walk on the highway just to get down to the water. That's not safe and or reasonable. I think that's probably the best way. But absolutely, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, all 504 should be blocked off to parking.
Well, that's pretty extreme, and that's not likely to happen. I appreciate that Raymond has tried to make something happen on this, and I think it's back in our court to give him more ammunition to work with to take another run at it. And if that involves drawing our friend Wayne Westco into it, so be it. It's just that the response that the writer got from Highways that I alluded to a couple of moments ago was very helpful, very friendly, very cooperative. It kind of invites us to take another run at the rest of 504. But we got to help. We've got to help Raymond and give him some facts and figures and more information to work with.
So who's going to be taking photographs of 504 on a weekend?
I'll do that.
No, it's not hard to do. We walk there, on weekends.
And it just takes somebody going up at around 12 o'clock. That's when most of them are there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, that's my
That's your correspondence?
on correspondence. Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. Erwin?
I had an inquiry from a resident asking when we were going to be returning to the beaches to hold our one meeting per month. There have been a number of events at the community center that worked well, but given what's happening today with COVID, with what appears to be the beginning of a second wave, to err on the side of caution, I think, is prudent. In my view, it's not time to be opening up meetings further. No. Pretty scary over the weekend when you have, 26 new cases, so, appreciate the concern and the need to be able to have local people, summertime people attend meetings, but I think it's just premature.
Yes. I would have to agree.
And we addressed this in the last meeting as well. The social scene's not set up to be able to do it safely. I absolutely will not attend any meeting in person because I'm at too high a risk after having pneumonia this past year, this past winter. And unfortunately, it's just the liability is too great. I believe that we did just generally agree, although we didn't make anything official, that we would be spending more time after this nightmare is over and gone with. Just some more meetings at the beach to sort of make up for the lack of them. But now is definitely not time.
No, and the social scene. I spoke with Rod the other day. They're only allowing 25 people in the main hall.
Yeah.
That includes the volunteers. And in terms of the way we film our meetings, number one, I don't know that bandwidth would be there, and I don't know that we would be able to get all of council in the frame.
Yeah.
Because we'd have to be spread out so far. So I think what we're doing is working, and until things turn around again, I don't think it's in anyone's best interest that we jump the gun on this one.
No.
I had some correspondence. People were wondering, after we sent out our update on Friday, some people said, well, we didn't talk about where testing sites were, we didn't talk about beach protocols, we didn't talk about business protocols, the bakery, the store, the Moonlight, etc. Well, those aren't our businesses.
Yeah.
So we're not talking about those, but the beaches, we did have something in that write-up, and it was keep your distance. The provincial parks have a 12-foot
12-foot between family groups.
Between family
Between
groups.
beach groups, yeah. That, and there's a whole bunch more information
There's
that
a
you had
lot.
sent to me. It's on our Facebook page,
Right.
RM of Victoria Beach. There is a link to a full page from the province
Right.
that gives a lot of good information about COVID-19
Mm-hmm.
beach-going guidelines.
And there are testing sites in I think, Selkirk, Pine Falls, and I think Steinbach, if people feel they need to be tested.
Mhm.
And everything is on the Manitoba government website, all
Yep.
the information you need. But I would like to remind people numerous times this weekend, I know it's the busiest weekend of the summer, I went to the store, I'm standing in line, there's a hand sanitizer right on the table before you go in the door. People go right by the hand sanitizer, right in the door. Families, groups of kids. It got a little crowded, they had to do some crowd control.
Talking about any deficiencies that some of the businesses are having, just.
Yeah, I'm just saying, they had the equipment there, they're doing their part. It's residents who
Yeah.
aren't paying attention to the protocols. The tennis courts had the biggest tournament of the summer.
Yeah.
And the bleachers were blocked off, they had X's on them, didn't matter.
Yeah.
You know, they were cheek by jowl, there's a raffle going on, they were going in, out, backwards, forwards. There was very little social distancing, and I don't know what you can do.
Yeah.
I mean,
Just
people have to be responsible for
don't-
themselves.
Yeah, don't become complacent. We've had some great numbers all the
Yeah.
way through. We've practiced great physical distancing and COVID protocols all summer. And now is not the time to become complacent because, as everyone said, the numbers are starting to spike again. And we have to go back to that same vigilance that we practiced when this whole miasma started.
Miasma?
Miasma.
Oh, miasma.
Yeah.
And I do think the residents, for the most part, are doing a fantastic job, and I know our businesses are doing a fantastic job, but we all need to take responsibility and make sure that we do what we can as individuals, not just as a council, but as individuals, to make sure that we keep COVID out of our community as much as possible,
Yeah.
because it's getting close.
Gull Lake.
Gull Lake, yeah, Saguin, I was told, has one, so.
Yeah.
Anyway, be safe out there, people.
Mhm.
Okay. Don't think I have anything else to discuss. Raymond and I did meet with,
I'll just
Sorry,
say
Steve.
one more thing real
Yep.
quick just on the COVID thing, 'cause I saw it everywhere in the last week, which is, I just want to reiterate, if the mask is not covering your nose all the way down to the bottom of your jaw, then it is not doing anything whatsoever. If your nose is exposed, then you are very much open to getting the virus. And if your entire family unit chooses to wear a mask, and I hope they do, if they choose that, they all have to wear a mask. It's not if you wear one, and if everybody's wearing one and one person does not, then the entire family unit can get exposed. So I just wanted to put that out there again.
oh yes, okay, thank you, Steve. Raymond and I met with the Arm of Alexander Reeve and Mayor and CAO a week or so ago. We had a good discussion. We talked about safety on Safi Road. And they're agreeable to improving that somehow with either yellow lines or signage
Or a combination of the two.
or a combination. We talked about parking issues across the street. We talked about drainage. What else did we talk about? The building, right? Having a look at the building that is sitting in St. George. But it was a good discussion. Nice lunch at La Goûter. So-
RMA paid for it.
Yeah, Arm of Alexander, thank you very much for lunch.
What was their reaction to the idea of us acquiring the building at a nominal cost? Or was that discussed?
Didn't talk numbers.
We didn't talk
No.
numbers. They said you should really have a look at it. It may or may not be worth moving. It may or may not meet your needs. So, we're just talking about
Yeah.
having a look at it, and then that's That's it.
Very preliminary discussion,
Oh, very
Very,
preliminary.
no
Yeah.
commitments.
None at all. But we should at some point get together with the Arm of Alexander and go over council matters, but again, because of COVID, meeting spaces are harder to come by, and, you know, we don't need to risk.
There was also the
Infection.
landfill. We talked about the landfill.
That's right, we did talk about the landfill briefly. They're having a study, the Traverse Bay Landfill is jointly owned by both municipalities,
Mhm.
and they're having a study done on the
All three of them.
Span.
lifespan of all three of their landfills, and ours is, our joint one is one of them. They don't have that report yet. When they do get it, they will share it with us. So, okay, anything else I'm missing?
No, I think that pretty much covers it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it was a good meeting. And the only other thing, I attended a meeting on Thursday evening over in Saguin, about a forestry technology initiative that is being started by First Nations communities, and it's also could have some spin-off benefits for the area municipalities. Again, very preliminary, not a lot of action on the ground yet, and they will invite us to the next meeting, and you know, they don't even know what they're going to do yet, but they do have a lot of forest to work with, and they have lots of ideas, so could be some jobs for area residents and heavy equipment or labor, whatever. So I'll keep you posted on that as it moves forward, but it was, I found it quite
That was
preliminary.
hosted by Saguin.
It was in Saguin, and it is the FML project. FML stands for the Forest Management License. And Chief Kent, Chief Barker, Chief Henderson, Chief Smith, and various Wayne Iwasco, Reeves mayors, and some councillors were there from other municipalities. So they might bring it up at the regional municipal forum that you go to, you and Graham. They might ask someone from here to come and speak and give the information there. So.
Okay. Thank you, Penny. On meetings, I'll just mention that I attended the Wanasing Beach Cottage Owners Association annual general meeting yesterday. It was certainly informative, and I'll be reporting on it more fully in the context of committee reports at our next council meeting.
And Steve sent us an email. He attended the David Road Cottagers Association meetings.
Mike changed the name.
Mike Bay, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
And I would like to.
I'll talk about that more at the next meeting. There's no reason to go to that now.
Yeah. Okay.
And I would love to see the folks in Sandy Bay reactivate the Sandy Bay Cottage Owners Association as well. So anybody out there in Sandy Bay who wants to get started again, give me a buzz, I'll help you out.
Gonna call it the Mike B.
We'll call it the Mike B, yeah.
All right. Hearing nothing else on correspondence? All right. Gentlemen, holy macaroni. Be it resolved that the August 4th, 2020 regular council meeting be adjourned. Our next regular council meeting to be held on August 18th at 1 p.m. here in Winnipeg at 705 1661 Portage Avenue. We have a mover,
So move.
Graham, and a seconder, Steve.
Steve.
I always move these, it makes it seem like I'm anxious or something.
Any further discussion? All those in favor? All right, 20-2.
Go Jets, go.
Go Jets,
Go
go,
Jets, go,
indeed.
apparently. Thank you very much, everybody. Enjoy the rest of the day.
Thanks, folks, see you later.